In this quick lesson, I want to introduce you to React Native, which is a library that you may or may not have heard of. A lot of people might get confused because it shares a name that is very similar to React. So let's just quickly dive into it. What is React Native? React Native is a JavaScript library that uses React to build applications, or in other words, user interfaces, but for mobile devices. So you can think of iOS devices like iPhones and iPads and Android devices, right? So React Native is primarily used for mobile development. One of the advantages and the selling points of React Native is that you can use JavaScript and React to build complete functional mobile applications. Otherwise, what you typically have to do is write those applications in the device's native languages. So for example, Android development is typically written with Java or Kotlin, and iOS applications are typically written with Swift. And one of the advantages of React Native is you can use one language to build a complete application that works on all of those mobile devices. Now, there are some disadvantages. For example, when you build the applications using the native languages, you typically have more access to more powerful features, right? Because they're made for coding on those devices. However, for a lot of companies, building with React Native is a really good choice because it allows them to iterate quickly and just write the code in one universal language that is applicable everywhere, right? So React Native is a really common thing that you see in places like startups where they don't always have the time and money to have separate development teams with separate language skills working on the same application but for different devices, right? With that said, for our sake, it's important to recognize that React and React Native are two totally separate, distinct libraries. You can think of React as a prerequisite for React Native. You are not obligated to shy away from React Native. You're certainly more than welcome to learn it at a future point, but you do need to know the basics of React first, regardless of whether you're going to be building an application in the browser or building a mobile application with React Native down the line. So we will be learning React throughout this course with the goal being to build browser applications. But if you like working with React, it's really cool that you can then take a lot of that knowledge and transition it as a foundational layer of learning to then learning React Native on top of that core foundation. All right. So just to make sure you don't, confuse yourself or embarrass yourself in an interview, React and React Native are two totally separate libraries that are obviously related. And you could think of React as a prerequisite or a foundation of knowledge. It's something that React Native runs on top of. It's just a specific library for using React for building the mobile applications, mobile devices. All right, that's all there's to cover in this lesson, and I will see you in the next one.